Welcome to LSB Feaster's Radio Air Check and Classic TV channel.
The Bill of Rights, asking for a prohibition against discrimination against gays. Rocky, how about it?
No way.
No way. Why not, Rocky?
No way. Them people, them faggots are the ones that brought that disease AIDS in here. They were in the closet. Now they're all running out here trying to they're making money off this. This is a smoke screen for them faggots to get a bunch of money. I think we ought to put them, all of them, hey, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll tell them that. We'll trick them. We'll say, okay, you want another amendment? Okay, Daddy, you want number 28? I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do it, and we're going to get them all together. We're going to find out who they are, and we're going to tag them. We're going to put a tattoo across the forehead.
How are you going to find them, Rocky?
They're going to grow their hair long and cover up with bangs.
Rocky, how are you going to find them?
On their cheek. They got their destruction. They're destroying this country through AIDS. AIDS is one of the biggest problems in this nation right now.
Rocky, how are you going to find them, Rocky?
It's spread all through the United States.
Rocky, how are you going to find them? How are you going to find these gays to tag them?
Trick them. We're going to go ahead with that. We're going to go ahead with that new amendment. Okay, come on out. Come on out, faggots. We're going to trick them. Let's get some people out here. We'll trick them.
Carolyn, is there a need for an amendment to the Bill of Rights for homosexual rights?
It's my turn, Rocky. I don't know whether there's a need for it or not, but I would defend to my death the right of gays to petition for that amendment. They have every right to do so, and I would like to say...
Will you support them, though, in getting it?
Of course I would support them. I would like to say that Rocky, in my opinion, is a latent heterosexual, and he doesn't know why. And also I would like to say that gays have as many rights under our democratic republic as rednecks.
Lionel, what do you have to say about that? Do gays need an amendment?
Aside from Rocky being a latent heterosexual, he has penis envy.
You got that right.
But instead of an amendment, what I think we should do is the Supreme Court should include, within the 14th Amendment, the equal protection...
You're a lesbian and a faggot.
Hold on there, Rocky. Hold on.
You're a lesbian and a...
Hold on, Rocky. You'll get your chance. Rocky, you'll get your chance.
I hope y'all got your condoms on, because when you get close to each other, y'all better be careful.
Rocky, hold on, or else you don't play anymore. You'll get your chance in the open part of the discussion. Go ahead, Lionel.
Bobby's drunk. But anyway,
you're a faggot, Lionel.
You're an idiot. So anyway, I think we should need to have, under the 14th Amendment, the Equal Protection Clause, homosexuals should be a part of a suspect class that would allow them to avail themselves of the 14th Amendment, which is really already there. But if the ERA didn't make it, how in the hell can a homosexual Bill of Rights make it? Another thing, too, is I don't like there being any type of a Bill of Rights or an amendment, because all that does is it prohibits state and federal governments from being the transgressor. It doesn't prohibit private industry from...
So, Lionel, you are not in favor of an amendment to the Bill of Rights?
No, but I want I want case law to be reconstrued. You like
Captain
that
Jack.
Word, Rocky, you idiot, you?
Captain Jack, are you going to be on the side of Lionel?
What do you mean by how they reconstrued? Let me tell you something. These sub-whites that I call them, these late arrivals that come into this country... by the English and the Scots and the Germans and the ones that fought the wars in the 16 and 1700s. They belong to this group of the blacks and the Cubans and the Mexicans and the Puerto Ricans and Asians.
What's the matter, Captain Jack? What's the matter, Captain Jack?
Those are the people that's got the AIDS. They're the ones that spread it. I have no compassion at all. Any of them, and every one of them don't deserve anything. As far as I'm concerned, the Constitution don't even apply to them.
So, Captain Jack, you're on Lionel's side on this.
Lionel's side?
Yeah.
No, I'm not on Lionel's side. I'm on Rocky's side.
He doesn't know the difference.
You're stupid to know what the hell you're talking about, Jack.
Don't have no right.
You don't know the difference, Jack.
Listen to them people.
Faggots don't have no
people
right.
Scream. It's getting to you. You ain't in New York. You ain't in New York. It's getting to you, ain't it? You can't.
Yes, Carolyn.
I wanted to say that Rocky...
that Mason-Dixon line. Right. Go back to Russia.
Rocky is the only man.
Go back to Russia.
Rocky is the only man I have...
Well, we'll just put everybody on hold and start again with you, Carolyn. Okay.
Rocky's the...
Jack, do you like this kind of talk on the radio?
Well, I don't appreciate every time we try to have a discussion that Lionel and that Carolyn have to start talking about...
Captain Jack, are you there?
Hunt?
Captain Jack, can I say something to you?
You sure can.
You're a good American. Let me tell you, what we're dealing with is is two liberal communist sympathizers
I know that.
that are using this program for a smokescreen to disturb our young children.
They're not going to get away with it.
Carolyn, can I talk to you?
You bet. Did you hear Lionel?
We're dealing with a guy named Jackoff and Rocky.
Uh-huh.
You got it.
Intellectual deficits. Two people with chromosomes missing.
Yeah.
You
Two
got it.
people who are only putting
Hey, you're still stealing my... Hey, you and Theodore Bundy. Hey,
let me tell you something.
you and Theodore Bundy are two of a kind. You go around ripping off these old ladies.
You are...
Yeah. Young children got a little taller there, and you come in there filling your pocketbook. I don't know whether you...
Issue number 4. Oh, my God. Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster. Will they find him? Do you care if they find him? What do you want done with him if they do find him? Carolyn, is Nessie for real?
No, and I could care less how long they search for him. And I wanted to say also that Rocky has just said he's a Merkin, and I totally agree with him. He is a Merkin. And you asked Rocky.
I want to serenade you, baby.
You're a Merkin.
I
You
never
got that right.
serenaded a Russian woman before. How do you like it?
You're a Merkin, baby.
I'm going to make you feel at home in a minute. Hey, I'm going to make you fame. My name is Vladimir Volkov.
You are indeed a Merkin.
I would like to welcome you to the country.
Rocky,
And I know
Rocky,
You like it?
Rocky, behave yourself, or,
Get AIDS, right?
you know, hey, I'll put Tom from Luth on. He wants to be on, too. Rocky, Loch Ness Monster, is he for real? Do you care?
Well, I had a friend that went over there to Glasgow, Scotland, and he was telling me that it ain't for real.
That ain't for real. Lionel, is Nessie for real?
No, he's as real as Rocky is, but he speaks better English.
Captain Jack, you're a seafaring man.
Because he can make money off that little monster down there.
Captain Jack,
Always
you're a
looking for a
seafaring man. Shut up, Rocky. Captain Jack, you're a seafaring man. How about it?
The only monsters we've got in this country is people like that Carolyn and Lionel and the rest of them that are trying to tear our country up. That's what they are.
That's what they are. Okay, issue number 5. Jessica Hahn, bimbo or victim? Lionel.
Victim.
Victim, why?
Jim Baker, the rapist. Jim Baker, the rapist.
3 people have come forward saying that they have had affairs with Jessica Hahn. One of them saying it was prior to the Clearwater Beach motel incident.
That does not preclude Jim Baker from being a rapist. She could have been a prostitute and still raped in Clearwater by Jim.
Lionel, if she lied about her virginity, might she not be lying about the entire story?
That's always a possibility. But let me ask you something. If it was untrue, why wouldn't Jim Baker, as you so astutely pointed out, why wouldn't he file a libel action against her? Because truth is a defense. He knows it's true. She knows it's true. And aside from being a liar and a mendacious liar at that, he's a rapist. And it's true. But she might still be a bimbo, too. Bimbos can be raped.
Captain Jack, have you seen the pictures? Is she a bimbo or a victim?
I went down yesterday to the Circle K and got the magazine, and I read the story.
Uh-huh.
And the woman's got round heels and got calluses on her back.
Isn't that against your religion, Jackov, huh?
Lionel, you'll have your chance.
She's got calluses on her back.
What makes her a bimbo, Captain Jack?
Just what you said. People are coming forward now and telling exactly what she is, and all she's doing is making millions of dollars off of Baker. That's
Is
all.
it okay to rape a bimbo?
She wasn't raped.
Why don't you believe her?
I don't believe her.
Why not?
Oh, I just don't.
But Jim Baker will steal old ladies' money. Why not steal a young girl's virginity?
Lionel steals old people's money too.
Rocky.
He's not. Maybe he's a rapist too.
Rocky, is Jessica Hahn a bimbo or a victim?
Jessica Hahn is a professional prostitute hired by Jim Baker. I think they both had a good time, and I think money did exchange hands.
How do you know she's a pro? Have you bought her services, Rocky?
No, but I have heard that she said that she did want to get it on with Jim because she had a thing for him.
Where did you hear that, Rock?
Oh, I heard that on the radio, on your station, matter of fact.
I never had her on. I don't believe anybody on the station
No, you
did.
didn't have it on. It was another person on your radio station.
Hallucinations, Bob.
Jessica Hahn is nothing more than a professional prostitute.
Carolyn, bimbo or victim?
She's a victim, of course, whether she was a prostitute or a virgin as she claims. any woman who is raped by a man is a victim, and Jim Baker is a rapist. And later on in the program, I would love it if Lionel has the guts to tell Rocky what a Merkin is.
Well, she's not a victim anyway.
No,
Who's not a
she ain't
victim?
No victim. She needed a little bit of cash.
Yeah.
And
What, are
she
you
was a man
jealous,
that had
Rocky?
some cash, and she says, "Baby, I'm going to get some of that action, and I want some of that money."
You're
She's
jealous,
good
aren't
folk.
you, Rocky?
And now
Yes.
she's in Playboy magazine, and she'll play her cards right like Carolyn would do it.
In your dreams,
She might
Rocky.
get a movie career
your
out of
dreams.
it. She would just play her cards right.
In your
But
dreams.
she's got to be careful.
She got more sense.
Issue
Well, Carolyn will make whatever
number
make it from
6.
Playboy. Maybe
Ronald
Print
Reagan, is he
magazine.
being a jerk in pressing the Bork nomination? It is obvious to everyone there is not a chance in hell that Robert Bork will be nominated for the Supreme Court, or that Robert Bork will be confirmed for the Supreme Court. Is the president being a jerk in pushing this issue? Captain Jack, let's start with you.
Repeat that.
Ronald Reagan, is he being a jerk in pressing for the Bork nomination?
Well, first of all, our president's not a jerk, whether he's pressing for the Bork nomination or not. And no, he's not. Look at the...
It's a lost cause, Captain Jack.
What?
It's a lost cause.
It may be a lost cause, but good people don't give up lost causes. They keep fighting. They fight and they fight and they fight. And whether he gets him in there, he's going to make his point. And
But Captain Jack, in the meanwhile, that 9th chair sits vacant.
good. And it goes right back to the Congress, who's the ones that are supposed to be making the laws and trying to stick lawmaking on the Supreme Court. That's the problem with the Supreme Court right now. The congressmen that up there won't make the damn laws. They want the Supreme Court to make laws. And Burke refuses to do it, and that's the problem. That Kennedy sit right there and just wrangled over that man, and he hadn't got the guts to make the laws. That's the problem there with Burke.
Carolyn, is the president being a jerk in pressing this issue?
Of course he's being a jerk. When the president was asked the question, don't you think that the nomination for confirmation of Judge Bork will fail on the Judiciary Committee, Ronald Reagan said, over my dead body. And he's in a hell of a position because he doesn't want the right-wingers in this country who are furious with him to make that prophecy fulfilled.
Lionel, how about it? President a jerk for pushing this issue?
Of course he's intransigent. He's obstinate. Bork was dead the first time he opened his mouth. Now, what Reagan could do is he could nominate, or somebody else could, Higginbotham, Posner, people from Chicago, brilliant people who would go through, Howard Baker even. They would go through without a problem. But no, he has to appoint a right-wing neo-Nazi who at one time used to be a socialist. At one time, an individual that both Rocky and Jerkoff over there would have hated. So who does he pick? He picks the guy who makes Hitler look like Gandhi. And what is he doing now?
Hey, what you're saying about Hitler, Lionel?
Shut up.
What you're saying about Hitler there, Lionel?
Rocky, is the president a jerk on this issue?
No, he's not a jerk on this issue, but I do predict that Mr. Bork will not make the Supreme Court justice because of the slanderous. I believe that he will...
Oh, my God.
What? Hey, shut up a minute.
What a prediction.
The Jewish media is going to destroy Mr. Bork.
Oh, Jesus, I can't stand it.
What? I think she might be sitting on something that should have been flushed down the toilet. That's another story.
Old things laugh too.
I can't stand
No,
it.
Bork has been destroyed by the Jewish media. And
Oh,
the
yeah.
Southern Democrats want the black constituency.
Yeah,
They
the
want to
Jews,
get that
Rocky.
vote, and the senators that are against him, they want to get on the
My sides are hurting.
bandwagon and
Rocky.
destroy the man's character because they're afraid of their political gain. by
Rocky,
not
let me ask
endorsing
you
him.
this. Did the Jewish media destroy Bork because of his views, or did they
Jewish media
destroy Bork because he divorced a Jewish woman?
It's nothing more than propaganda.
Those two in the same room together. Listen to that.
Oh, geez.
Rocky, you're tremendous.
I
If
can't
you weren't
stand it.
drunk, I swear to God,
The
you were
black
serious.
the black people do. Hey, they have made him out to be a racist. Mr.
black
Bork is
people
not a
have-
racist.
The black people, Bork gets on TV and says he's against integrated lunch counters, and the black people told him to say
Well, I'm
that?
for that myself.
Me too.
Oh, God.
So
Hey,
Bork is like you?
I don't want to go into a restaurant set beside some spook
Oh.
slobbering all over the table. Hey, this country belongs to the white people. Let's give it back to tradition. Let's have a cleansing of our nation.
About, Rocky.
12:46 the time. The Lassiter group in high gear. We will continue the conversation. Issue number 7. Jesse Jackson started appearing last Sunday in ads for what amounts to a trade school. Is there anything wrong with a presidential candidate, or a potential presidential candidate in this case, selling his name and his picture for a commercial endorsement? Lionel, let's start with you on this one.
Absolutely not. First Amendment. Our president was an actor. There's no reason for that to prohibit or proscribe Jesse Jackson from doing it. Albeit not the best move I can think of, but if he wants to make some money on the side, if he wants to endorse a product, if he wants to do what people like you and Dickie Norman and all these other guys do, by selling something, by advocating it, he has a First Amendment right. But politically, it's not the wisest thing you can do.
Why not?
Because it looks like you're a huckster. It looks like you're there 1 minute you're talking about saving the nation and being the next, the leader of the free world, and you're pushing a business school or whatever the hell it is.
Well, we already know that everybody who announces for office ain't playing with a full deck, so what's the difference?
Well, intrinsically nothing. I'm just saying, based upon the way people look at candidates like Jackoff and Rocky over there, it's not to their best interest, I think, to do something like he did. But does he have a right to do it? Of course he does. And I hope he makes a lot of money. He's going to need it because he doesn't have a chance. But I hope he makes loads of money, and the First Amendment allows him to do whatever the hell he wants to.
Captain Jack.
The First Amendment can allow Jackoff and Rocky to say the stupid things they've said this afternoon, then certainly Jesse Jackson can do an ad for anybody.
Captain Jack, is there anything wrong with that endorsement?
Well, first of all, you use the term potential candidate or potential president.
He hasn't officially announced yet.
He's not going to be president. And I've heard this Lionel and this Carolyn on this same radio station say that they would vote for the man. So the people that are listening out there, if that don't give them an idea of what they're listening to, he can run off his mouth all he wants, and her too, but you know where they're coming from. The man is, and he used the word, a potential huckster. He is a huckster. He's a racist. You call us racist and bigots and rednecks.
And morons.
Yeah, that's what he is.
Hold on, Lionel.
Well,
Hold on,
right.
Lionel.
And that's what he is.
Captain Jack, this is not without precedent. Ronald Reagan allows his image to be used in advertisements for the National Rifle Association. This is not without precedent.
He's still a huckster, and he's still
What,
a
Ronald
scumbag.
Reagan? Is Ronald Reagan a huckster?
No.
Well, why is it okay when Ronald Reagan does it, but it's not okay if Jesse Jackson does it? Smacks of racism, Captain Jack.
I never saw an ad of the president in any magazine or anywhere else backing up the national right. That's a bunch of garbage.
Well, I know it's a bunch of garbage, Captain Jack, but it happens to be true.
Where'd you see it?
It's on television and it's in the print media.
When?
What do you mean when? It's been going on for years, Captain Jack.
That's great that you tell me that. And
what do you still got, old copies of Uncle Billy's whiz-bang book there that you read through? Haven't you gotten any new magazines recently or watched television?
Wake up, Jackoff. Wake up, you're being made a fool out of.
Oh, you're the one that's being made a fool out of.
Wake up. You and Rockhead over there are being made fools of.
Hold on, gentlemen, hold on. Hold on, gentlemen. Carolyn, is there anything wrong with this?
Of course not. The same law which protects the president's son, Ron Jr., from putting a condom on a banana on PBS protects Jesse Jackson from his endeavors.
Rocky, what's wrong with it, if anything?
I have a problem when we take a communist that likes Gaddafi and kisses Castro and rubs Louis Farrakhan's behind and make money off of it. I think he's a black racist, and I don't think he has the best interest of the United States at hand.
Should black racists be forbidden from turning a buck in this country?
Versus white racists like you.
Oh, I'm not a racist.
White racists have no problem with that.
Well, okay, Rocky. For the sake of this conversation, we won't call you a racist. But what I'm asking is, should black racists be prohibited from earning a living in this country?
If they're communist, I do think so. But
how about white racists? Should they be prevented from earning a living?
Pryor does commercials.
Should white racists be prevented from earning a living?
I don't think we should take white communists and let them do advertisements.
You didn't answer the question. You didn't answer the question.
These two are communists, and I don't believe we should let liberal faggot communist
Can
on
I
the
ask
TV
something,
screen
Bob?
to advertise.
Bob, can
Really?
we stop
wait a
1 second?
minute.
I think you're communist sympathizers.
Of course they
Well, let me
do.
answer that question.
I won't say, hey, I don't think you're communist, but I think you're communist sympathizers.
Yeah, let me ask that question.
Oh, I can't wait. Let me get to the right
that's
to
the Communist Party.
Be stupid.
I think you people would like to divide the wealth. I think you people would like to see.
I want to
people
divide the wealth.
You people are jealous because I have a lot of money, and you'd like to share it with me, that like trash
You've
like
got
you that
money?
would like to separate
You've
it
got
because
money,
you're too
Rocky?
lazy to work. And ladies, everything you said
Issue
today, I've read
number 8 coming up. In the newspaper this morning, 2 newlyweds were fined a total of $1,000, placed on probation for their drunken escapades aboard an airliner. Amorous clinches were described in the court papers. Seems the 2 young people were married in Tampa, got aboard a Continental Airlines jet, were a bit tipsy, and the new husband started fondling and caressing his wife's bare breast. There was a 9-year-old child sitting across the aisle. They were jailed for 48 hours. The plane made an unscheduled stop in Houston and have now been fined $1,000 and placed on probation. Rocky, what do you think about that?
Well, you said a 9-year-old child witnessed to this, right?
That's correct.
I think that's inappropriate behavior for 2 adults to take a stance like this in an airplane. I think there's a time and place for everything, and I don't like to see this kind of thing in public.
Is it enough of a sentence, enough of a penalty, $1,000?
No, I don't like the way what should have happened. He should have got his ass kicked on the plane.
Rocky, have you ever fondled Mrs. Rocky's breast in public?
In public?
In public.
No.
Any place where it might have been witnessed?
Where it would have been witnessed?
Where it might have been
Does she
witnessed
have
by a
any
child.
Yes, she does. She's a 40D cup, jealous boy.
Yeah, right. How much
He
does
only
she weigh?
sees it from the back, Rocky. He don't ever see it from the front.
Well, you know, I'll tell you something about Lionel. He's so jealous because, you know, he spent all this time in college and spending up, burning the midnight oil, reading his little dictionary, and I'm a multi-millionaire.
Yeah, and I'm
And
Eleanor Roosevelt.
This
Nice to meet you.
sissy here can't stand it.
He was trained
People
by
are
Lawyer
jealous.
Calhoun off
Carolyn.
Hey, Lionel, I can't help it.
Hold on, gentlemen. Gentlemen, hold on. Carolyn, is this appropriate punishment for this type of behavior?
Oh, I think it's much too heavy a punishment. And for a Klansman who's into S&M, I find Rocky's opinion very
Hey, that
What would be
S&M
appropriate
activity
punishment,
is-
Carolyn?
Oh,
Shut up, Rocky.
That isn't the whole.
Shut up, Rocky. Carolyn, what's appropriate punishment?
Maybe ban them from that airline for a while and give them a $500 fine for offending the morals of a minor.
Captain Jack, where do you stand on this?
Well, I'd say Carolyn would pay him to fondle her on an airplane.
Hey, they'd have a hard time finding anything.
Captain Jack, how much would you pay to fondle Carolyn?
I'd like to,
Hey, I'll follow her for free.
Shut up, Rocky.
well, no.
Lassiter,
I'd
in
like to
his
know-
dream.
I'd like to look at these people. I'd like to have a picture of them and just see. I'd like to see what they really
You couldn't
were.
tell the front from the back.
Yeah.
Lionel, is this appropriate punishment?
Of course it's not appropriate. It's too strict. First of all, I want to know who's got jurisdiction. Which state did they fly over? What is it, federal? I mean, who is responsible for bringing them to court?
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was on a federal charge because it took place in an airliner above the ground, off the ground.
This
They
is
stopped
a
initially in
typical
Houston.
example of a waste of the court's time. What they should have done is, instead of taking these people on their honeymoon and fined them, they should have sat down with a 9-year-old kid and said, "Kid, welcome to the real world. You're going to see people fondling people in public, and you're going to hear idiots like Jackoff and Rockhead on the air saying stupid things.
Rocky,
Open
how-
your eyes, kid.
Rocky-
It's a tough world out there.
Hold on, Lionel.
That's clear
Lionel,
up,
hold
Lionel.
on.
That's why you're going stealing from
Rocky,
old
how
ladies,
does
ain't
this differ from a man getting on the radio at night and giving explicit, intimate details of his sexual escapades with his wife?
Airplane, though. I don't think there was on an airplane.
Oh, no, Bob.
I heard that, Rocky.
Airplane.
It wasn't in the subway.
It's okay because kids were listening to this pervert.
Of course.
This
Lionel, you
miscreant.
used a lot of nasty language today, and I would like to discourage the parents out here listening to do not take these incorrigible minds out here.
He said nothing to compare with what you said.
You don't hang around
Nothing.
Rocky, how is it any different? How is it any different seeing this activity than hearing about this activity?
You got
How
that
much should
right.
you have been fined?
How much should I be fined?
Yes. There could have been 9-year-old children listening to that disgusting
Of
display
course.
of what you and Mrs. Rocky do.
That's tough. That's tough cookies for
Which
them.
was fantasy because you're impotent.
Of course
Everybody
he's
knows
impotent.
it. You've got
You're jealous,
penis
Lionel.
envy.
You're jealous.
You're a
You spend up all night reading your dictionary.
Yeah, that's right.
You'll
Rocky's
never
brain
have
is
what
in
I
his
got.
genitalia.
All
That's
you're
why
not
it's
trying
sensitive.
to read.
You're a sissy.
You're an ignorant.
You're a
What-
sissy
the
born
only
with a
reason-
silver spoon
Do
in your
you
mouth,
know-
riding
do you
around in
know
a
why,
beige
Bob?
Mercedes Benz
Do you know
with
why,
a telephone
Bob?
in your car.